the council meeting of this September 12th, 2017 to order. As always, we have an invocation tonight by Councilman Nash, and then we'll say our pledge of allegiance, and I ask everyone to stand.
Let's pray. Dear Lord, we're so thankful to be in the good central county in South Carolina and escape most of the bad stuff. We pray for people that was caught in harm's way as well as not. All the flooding and things getting to the upcountry. We're so thankful to have them visiting with us, but sorry for the circumstances. And we're so thankful that our county employees kept this county rolling along smoothly. And we want to thank our sheriff's department and all the law enforcement all across the county and the state for keeping order, and National Guards. Everybody has pitched in this perilous time and made life as livable as it could. With this being said, may you guide this council tonight and everything we say and do. And yes, this in Jesus' name, amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I hope everybody did make it through the storms okay. I myself have been without power since 2 o'clock yesterday afternoon, and I got my little sister back here. She lives in Charleston. We brought her up here to weather the storm, and we didn't have power today, and I bet I've answered 500,000 questions. And I told her I had to go to a council meeting this afternoon. She said, "What's that?" So I tried to explain it to her, and she said, "Can I go?" And I said, "Well, I don't see why not, if you'll be quiet." So that's why she's here. She's hiding down here now. First thing we have is approval of the agenda, and we got a couple of additions. We'll have a report to council, will be 4F. 5B is going to be removed from the agenda. 6D will be removed from the agenda. And we're going to have an executive session on employment matter with the fire service and contractual matter detention center. Are there anything else to add to the agenda? Keith, you got something you want to add?
I apologize, Mr. Chairman, I thought report to council. I also would like to add a report to council.
Okay, and that'd be 4G.
I thought that was the one, there's gonna be more than one.
And also, after Keith, Joey and Greg Lindley, Joey Avery and Greg Lindley wants to address the council, that'll be 4G. And Matt and Sheriff come up, Joey and Greg and all the rest of the storm. Are there anything else to add to the agenda? If not, I'll ask for a motion to approve our agenda.
So moved. Second.
Motion is second. All in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed? That'd be 5-1.
If I just may, Mr. Chairman, the reason I'm opposing is because 5B, when we voted for this budget, we voted for the funding, and we were told we were going to discuss adding those additional employees at a later time. If I'm understanding correctly, we are going ahead and with those additional employees and not going to discuss bringing on those additional employees. Am I correct? Okay.
All in favor, raise your right hand. We done voted on that fire room. We kind of mixed up tonight. The approval of our minutes, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sets of minutes. Has anybody got any objection to approving all of the minutes at once? If not, I'll ask for a motion to approve these minutes, five sets of minutes.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, raise your right hand. That's all.
I'm gonna abstain.
All right. Opposed? Same. We see. 5. Diane. 5. All right, first thing I'm gonna call for is Mr. King, Court Counsel.
Actually, the emergency services folks, Sheriff, Matt, Joey, Greg, Sheriff.
Mr. Chairman, members of council, we've been asked to sort of give an overview about the storm and the response from last night. I must say that it was phenomenal effort on all parts of emergency services, utilities, Red Cross, other folks who had on standby. And took a lot of coordinated effort, a lot of planning in the days before the storm get here. And we were well prepared to handle as much of the wind as we could handle. But after the wind has come through the county and started moving out, the emergency services and utility departments did, again, a phenomenal job. Law enforcement, blocking roads, where these streets failed. Through the conditions, the wind and rain, they were soaked to the bone, some of them, and but they did not let up. They kept moving forward until they had the roadways. And most of the utilities have power back on. There is still some work in a couple of areas because some of the rural areas, tree damage that took care of some of the transmission lines and that kind of stuff. I understand that all the power has been restored to the schools. So I would assume schools will be on normal schedule tomorrow. I have not heard from the two superintendents, but that's my projection. So these guys did a great job, and I'll let them talk this a little bit.
Thank you, Joey. I would just like to say thank you to all our firefighters yesterday afternoon, night, and into the morning. From volunteers to paid firefighters, I don't know what the number was. It was well above the normal that we see on a daily basis. Again, I would just like to thank our staff, volunteers, paid staff, all of what they did, the time they took away from the families to go and help others. The conditions at times when the winds got up were hazardous, to say the least. We had trees falling. We did have actually one fire truck respond to a call that a tree fell on. We had no injuries, and again, just would like to thank those that came out and helped.
Let me touch on the call volume. I didn't touch on that earlier. We took about approximately between 12 and 1,300 calls. And if you average that out on a 24-hour, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., and then make that complete day, we averaged about 54 calls per hour that came into the 911 center. The dispatchers are the unsung heroes all the time because they're out of sight, out of mind. Those are the true professionals that get the wheels moving for these guys to start responding out to the conditions that may take place out there in a storm like this. So they did a phenomenal job, just like everyone else. Those guys are near and dear to my heart, and if you could have seen them in action, you would have been well impressed with the way that things were organized and taking place.
And again, from EMS standpoint, I again want to thank all of our staff. We had additional staffing on standby. We did have additional trucks on the road. Excuse me. Fortunately for us, our call volume wasn't as high as the fire service. We had no injuries, no accidents related to our staff or vehicles. And everybody worked well together, not just within our own organization, but between the sheriff's office, fire, and dispatch. And that's what made this whole thing go by so smoothly. Again, I just want to thank our staff for doing such a great job.
This is truly a team effort. This country's hurting all across it, and we were truly blessed, to be frank. There's been a lot of inconvenience, but we've been blessed in a lot of ways. My guys worked diligently alongside these other guys, and I think they responded early in the evening to something like 71 plus fallen trees and 26 power lines down. So they too were drenched and soaked and worked hard and was proud to do it. And I appreciate all these people's hard work, and it does take a team effort. And that's why it's so important to have good people in a town like that. So I think all y'all can do to help us. I know you do what you can to help. I thank y'all. Thank you.
Well, I'd like to say, give all of you a big thanks, and all the people that works under you, and all the volunteer firefighters. I saw them going out all week, you know, well, last 2 or 3 days. And as Mr. Reynolds just said, I think Lawrence County has been blessed during all this. All you got to do is just look at the TV and look what these people in Texas and Florida and Georgia are putting up with right now. We have been blessed. But I thank all of you, bottom of my heart. And like I said, it's nothing like seeing help coming when you need it. Thank all of you. Is anybody else on the council got anything they'd like to say?
I'd just like to echo what Mr. Wood says. That is what government is and should be about, and that is constituent services, and I also would like to thank you for it.
I'd also like to echo those same things and just thank all the many men and women that were out there in the storm and helping people, and I can't thank you enough.
Did I see that we sent one or some to Texas last week? I read that.
No, sir. Our training coordinator, Chad Beam, is on a team in Greenville, and he was going to go to Texas with them, but they were canceled.
Well, thank y'all very much. Next, I call on Mr. Tolson.
Mr. Chairman, I've given you a copy of the letter there. It's addressed to you, but it actually probably should be addressed to the members of District 5. Mr. Cruikshank, if you don't mind, I have several copies of the press. And I'm just gonna read this, spent some time in the last few weeks deliberating, so I'm just gonna read you my statement here. Chairman Wood, understandably, my absence from the meeting for the last few months has some asking questions on my ability to remain a council member, as well as honoring the ability to effectively represent the members of District 5 and the county at large. As you know, my absence has been due to scheduling conflicts with my current career position. I had hoped when I took this position I would work my schedule quickly enough only to miss a couple of meetings, but unfortunately this has not happened as of yet. I want everyone to know that while I'm not physically able to be at each meeting, I have continued to serve and represent the constituents of my elected district by emails, text, and telephone while I stay. I have also been making personal as well as office visits with staff and other council members while in town. To date, there's only been one person who is not a county staff or council member that's inquired about my schedule. I will be the first to admit, while meetings are an important part of running our local government, but I also know the residents of our awesome county understands and prospective council members for services done before or after the meeting. I have prayed about and struggled with resigning this council seat. Discussions with several council and staff members and my family has led me to the decision that I am going to continue my service as a District 5 council member. My decision factors include my ability to serve, even though I may miss still more meetings. My expectations for my schedule to change and return me to regular attendance. The cost of this county for the special election for this district could be as much as $14,000 of non-budgeted monies. There would be limited candidates ready to run. Candidates would only have a small amount of time to campaign, with district members having to make a quick, uninformed decision. And finally, a replacement member would unfairly only fill my original term. And based on the timing, would have to run again within less than 1 calendar year. Once again, I apologize for the meetings missed today. I thank you for your understanding. As long as I can continue to serve the members of District 5 and Lawrence County remotely during a given work week, I plan to complete my term as a District 5 council member. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Okay, next on our agenda is approval of resolution 2017 capital lease purchase. Mr. Bill Wilson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Members of council, I think Ms. Walsh has the handout there to sign the resolution. It is, as we proposed it throughout the budget session, it's going to be total $370,000, interest rate for 1.49%, for a term of 1 year actually, because we'll make the first payment at the time of closing. So nothing has changed since it was presented to you throughout the budget workshops. And I appreciate getting this thing done. We've got a scheduled closing date of next Thursday. So if anybody has any questions, be glad to answer.
Does anyone have any questions? Billy?
Yes, sir. Billy,
Yes.
the payback period is how many years?
It's actually set up as a 1 year term, but we're making 2 payments. We're gonna make the first payment at the time of closing.
Okay.
We classified it as a 2 year, they classified it as 1 year.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions?
That 1.49, was that a fixed rate,
Yes.
Ms. Wilson? Okay.
We don't do parallels.
Gotcha. Are these lease agreements, are they shopped around?
Yes, they have been. Locally, people can get within 1.5%, it's about the closest they can get.
Okay.
This lease here, this interest rate's 1.49, I believe the one we done last year for $780,000, I'm thinking was 1.38 or 1.36. So not a big difference.
All right, thank you.
Are we, just help me remember, are we buying, any police vehicles on this?
No, sir.
I didn't think so. All right. Thank you.
Anybody else?
It's $370,000. Why do you term it 2 years if we're only making 2 payments?
I'm sorry.
Why are you terming it 2 years and beginning?
It's just the way they classify it.
You make your first at close and then you make the other one.
Yeah. We're making 2 payments, but they're only showing as, they're not actually billing us for one. So,
Any other questions? No, I'll call for a motion for resolution 2017.
Mr. Chairman, I move we adopt resolution 2017-.
Second.
Motion and second. Any further questions? If not, we'll vote by the show of the right hand. All in favor? See?
thank you.
it's 839.
That's correct. Chairman, I thank you for your time. Ordinance 839, first reading of the new solid waste enterprise fund ordinance. Council has previously voted to officially make a enterprise fund out of the solid waste division account as originally set up by ordinance 312 way back in 1990 and then amended by ordinance 326. This ordinance would repeal those two ordinances in full and better reflect how the money in this account has been spent for many years now. Essentially, it is following along with the previous vote of council to officially separate this money out and then establishing what this money can be used for. Really, the newest part of this ordinance lies in items number 4 and 5, the revenue and the use of funds. Essentially, there are a few departments that are funded through this account. That is the closed landfill, which we call our solid waste department, our collections department, which is our rural collection centers, and then our litter humane department, humane being animal control. So essentially it's establishing the revenue that's generated through those departments, which includes the annual fee. There is no fee included in this ordinance. That would be set by through the budget ordinance, as I understand, Mr. Crookshanks. And then the scheduled fees would also be included, and then for the individual things that are charged to these departments, such as some tipping fees at the landfill, municipal agreements, and any other revenue generated through fees through these departments would go into that fund. And then also dictates there what the use of funds would be, and that's essentially running of those departments. If there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. Or anything additional that maybe the county attorney or administrator would like to add to that.
I'd just like to say real quick, Mr. Rushing, I like the idea of organizing this fund and separating those commingled funds as we've been doing here. What concerns me is what comes after this. In all honesty, there was some discussion about a $1 at an additional dollar, at an additional $10. It was just kind of, throwing a dart and kind of guessing from what I understood. That's what concerns me because I don't support increasing those fees. So
That's correct. This ordinance does not set any fees. The fees would be set through the normal budgeting process that you would go through on the annual basis. But it's not actually set by this ordinance.
when that time comes, can we, I guess I need clarity on, because what I was hearing up here before was really concerning to me about, we were just kind of guessing, we don't know how much money we'll need, but I want to know precisely, how much money we're going to need before we just go increasing taxes on people and guessing.
Correct, and through the budget process this year, we looked at, when I put the budget together, this is the first year in a long time that we were going to see a shortfall in that department revenue to expenses. One of those reasons was we increased the line item specifically for taking care of some of the VOC problems we're having out at the landfill and contaminants migrating towards the boundary of the landfill property. We actually received good news in just here in the last couple of weeks, and that a couple of the additional wells we dropped were clear of contaminants. So we feel that we have established the boundary of those contaminants now. That's the good news, that it's not off-site, it's all still contained on the property. The bad news is we need to treat it now while it's still on-site to prevent it from going off the property. So I increased the line item with an anticipation that we were going to do some remediation this year. And that's what's causing the budget to kind of go out of its normal bounds. I expect that we get a good answer from DHEC and approval of a method to do some remediation this year, and we'll be able to find an exact cost for that. I have a roundabout number in my head that's been given to me. We bandied about, covered that in the line item to be sure we were covered this year because I knew we were going to most likely have to take action this year. We'll see what that exact number is. And this is something that's dictated by DHEC, steps that we have to take and how that landfill property is regulated. So, when we talked about this and the additional funds, I was, not real, I guess, happy with that number. We put it in there. It's something that I wanted council to be aware of going forward, that with some of these remediation that we're going to have to do going forward, some of the additional testing because of these contaminants in some of the wells, that we're going to have to start looking at that, preparing for that additional cost. That was the point of that discussion. We'll see what happens this year, how much it costs us, and where we stand come budget time, January, February next year, when we're putting our budgets together. So we should have a very clear, or a much clearer picture of what our costs are going to be at that time when it comes to remediation.
Thank you.
Rob, that was a bang on the question of that, to mitigate that movement, the VOC. That's in your use of funds in line C. That's where you're talking about the maintenance of property associated with the landfill.
That is correct. It's actually under 5G, costs associated with regulations around control operations. So regulations with the landfill property, we are regulated by DHEC. They require us to do certain testing in certain locations. That is increasing with these contaminants that we found on the property. So it's nothing new for this type of landfill, but it is something that's going to escalate costs going forward, as we treat these issues.
Not long ago, we've done some wells on the neighbor's property there.
That is correct. We dropped some wells on a neighboring property. Those wells came back clean. So we believe we've established the edge of this plume of contaminants, and it is on our property.
Any other questions?
Just a comment, this one is a true enterprise fund where the revenues generate, this is a fee, taxes fees, but it is a fee in this particular situation, it's not an actual tax, it is a fee that's charged per household. There are other revenue sources. This enterprise fund operates basically like a business, and by separating this out from the general fund, it'll be much clearer and transparent on how we're operating this particular fund. And this was a decision that county council decided to move forward with as part of the budget discussion. There is a fund balance also. We won't do the fund balance resolution until third and final reading. There is a fund balance. I don't have the exact figure yet, but the fund balance is approximately $1 million. What that is that's money that's been generated during this period of time that we've had this 210 fund, which was set up in 1996 or 1997 through fees and other revenue sources. During that period of time, we've generated a surplus. A portion of that surplus will need to be set aside for things like this landfill. What that could be, we don't exactly know. I wish we had a better determination, but we're going to put some kind of figure out there, and that would be the minimum fund balance that we want to keep in that account. And then beyond that, the extra money would go, just like this year, we're deficit spending in this fund to replace some capital. There's a lot of very expensive capital that needs to be replaced. In FY19, there will be a capital replacement plan that explains all of the capital that needs to be replaced. But again, this fund basically will pay for itself. We will, again, bring that final resolution to council upon third and final, which will transfer that money currently sitting in the general fund. It's in the general fund in our audit as undesignated funds, so it's basically part of our undesignated fund balance in the general fund. But when we carve this one fund out from the general fund, we're going to give you that number of how much surplus has been generated through the couple of decades by the fees and revenues from this fund. Again, about $1 million. That's a significant impact to our general fund balance, just so you're well aware of that fact. But we'll be bringing that to you as a resolution upon third and final. And then, as was mentioned, the annual fee is something we've traditionally done during the budgeting process, the per household fee. Other fees, I would like to see us set up via resolution that we brought to the county council if we decided we needed to start charging a fee for some particular part of that service or something such as the animal control or something like that, that would be approved by county council. That would come back to you all. But we've stripped it from the old ordinance. The old ordinance had the per household fee in it, which was actually $40. And we've actually changed that through the years, but we didn't change the actual ordinance. This cleans all that up by taking the fee out of the actual ordinance, and then the actual fees will be done via resolution on whatever frequency we need to do. If we do decide we want to change the household fee, we can do that as part of the budgetary process. So all of this process, as we get through third and final, and do this resolution of transferring the fund balance, we'll clean all this up and we'll have a true enterprise fund for solid waste.
Are there anything else?
I like the organizational standpoint of this, what we're doing, unmingling those funds. I like that aspect. My concern, we kind of went through the same thing with the new employees, and we're here tonight, and those items have been removed, the funding's already been approved. So I feel like we're just going ahead, regardless. If I vote for this now, then am I gonna see a resolution that's gonna have the additional fees, or is it just gonna be put in the budget?
Well, the fees have already been established, and the budget ordinance that was passed by council, I know you voted in opposition, but the budget ordinance that was passed by county council did have the per household fee of $60. There was no change. It wasn't a recommendation to look at changing that, but that was not the case. That fee that goes on our bills, that's already been acted on by council. There's no further action. All the other fees have already been established. If those fees ever are to be changed, that action will have to come to county council through a resolution to change other fees, such as recycling.
Like we have, if a business brings a load of tires, we charge a certain per tonnage rate on those tires. I don't know that rate has ever really come before council and been approved. I assume at some point it was. I don't know if any change that rate was. I just don't have anything in my files on that. An adoption fee at the at our animal shelter, the same way. It's $45 has been. Now that one was actually part of a ordinance, if I'm not mistaken, that $45 was set in there. So as some of these services that we have, like turnover an animal, $45 fee, as our budget changes and those services become more expensive to us, such as if we get a load of tires and all of a sudden our contractor who we recycle those tires through suddenly goes up on his price, we need to take a look at whether we need to go up on our tipping fee to cover that increased price from our recycling. So that sort of things, in the past, I don't know that it was brought to council. By this ordinance, it says we will bring it to council and a fee schedule will be set.
Gotcha. The household fee is my main concern.
Right, that's the annual fee that goes on your taxes.
Okay.
And that is set through the budget, and has been set through the budget ordinance for many years now.
Anything else? If not, I'll ask for a motion, first reading ordinance 839.
Mr. Chairman, I move first reading of ordinance 839.
Do we have a second? Second. Motion and a second. Any further questions? Not, we'll vote by the show of right hand. All in favor? Opposed? 5-1.
Thank you, Chairman.
Next, I call Mr. Chuck Bobo, intergovernmental agreement with Waterloo.
Good evening, hope everybody's doing all right tonight. In 2000, South Carolina adopted the building code, so it became mandatory for everybody to have it. Over the years, it's become a custom for the larger jurisdictions to help the smaller ones. And a lot of times there's oral agreements. And the problem with the oral agreements is who does what, who pays for what. So you've got some disagreements. So we sat down with Mr. Seegers and Mr. Cruikshanks when I first got here and decided to put all this in writing. Mr. Cruikshanks come up with a very good agreement for us. This is virtually a carbon copy of what we've done with Gray Court and with Cross Hill. We've set the fees for code enforcement, demolition, have to charge them on that, we just pay the permit fee, so that works out. Makes it very inexpensive for the smaller jurisdictions. Might hire any manpower, works out, and we can usually handle the load pretty well. Is there any questions y'all might have about the agreement, or?
I think, Mr. Bobo, I think my questions are on the second part of the agreement with the flood, part of the agreement. Do you want to hold that off for a moment, or do you want to discuss both of them right now?
Either way, if there's any questions on the building codes or code enforcement, be glad to answer. If it's not, that's kind of a summary of it. We can go into the flood ordinance if you'd like.
We'll keep them separate.
Okay.
We'll go and take action on the first one. It's an intergovernmental.
All right, this won't be an ordinance, it'll just be an local government agreement, Mr. Cochran.
Yes, sir, that's correct.
And this vote will say yes or no.
This will participate in the request by the town of Waterloo for the county of Lawrence to basically do their code enforcement for them.
All right, we're gonna divide it into two agreements here. Do I have a motion for the first agreement?
Yep.
Second for discussion, Mr. Chairman.
Motion and a second for discussion. All right. Keith, you got anything?
I guess only one, for this, the interlocal government agreement, we only need one vote, right?
That's correct.
And it's already been signed by the town clerk and the mayor of Waterloo, so they've accepted this agreement.
That's right.
This has kind of been in the works for about 3 years to get final action from Waterloo.
None, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Jones?
I've got questions primarily on the second, dealing with the flood permits. That's where my questions are, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Knight, you got anything?
Well, they do need some ordinance, they have junky places around the turnoffs, you know, where in the town scattered out, different places, they do need to clean it up. So maybe this will help that.
Mr. Daniel?
No comment, sir.
Mr. Pitt?
None.
All right, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed? 5-1. All right, go over to second agreement.
Okay. The second agreement is for a floodplain ordinance. Our ordinance pretty much mimics the state ordinance. There's no use reinventing the wheel, so we just adopt theirs. Basically, the areas around the lakes, large rivers, they have a flood zone. The worst zones are A and B. You want to be very careful. If it's anywhere near those, we have an elevation certificate created by a surveyor that is certified that they are out of the floodplain. If they are in the floodplain, they're still able to build, but they got to be, our ordinance says 2 feet. It really, if you are to think about changing it to 3 feet, that helps you. I think every foot above floodplain saves you 50% on your insurance premium. So if we change that to 3 feet, it would be a benefit to the citizens. In the meantime, we have a floodplain manager, Joy Meadows. She does a great job for us. She's got all the certifications. She is a certified floodplain manager. So she can assist them with that, make sure all the paperwork is correct. I think it would be a great benefit.
Anybody got any questions?
Yes, sir. Mr. Bobo, is this, am I understanding correctly, this adds a $50 per permit for if somebody applies for a flood zone over in Waterloo?
If they're in the flood zone,
Okay.
because there is a lot more work
I don't
involved.
understand about the floodplain.
I beg your pardon?
The floodplain, where is it at? What you talking about there? I don't understand.
Around Lake Greenwood and all the rivers in the county, when you have a lot of flood, rain, the basin of the lake and the tributaries will swell. And call that the floodplain. The A zone is the worst, that's where you have rising water, so you don't want to build in those areas. There are some procedures where you can build in like the V zone, that's where it has extra flooding, but it's not as safe as the X zone, which is ordinary building flood elevations. So if we want to regulate, keep businesses, homes out of those areas, and if they are close to it, they have to make sure the bottom of their floor joist is at least 2 feet above the floodplain, or 1 foot on prior ones, I'm sorry. And so that's it, it's just protections of properties. You don't want water coming in your home, even at floor level. It gets in the insulation, it ruins mechanical equipment, crawl space, costs people a lot of money.
Whoa, I don't understand this floodplain. I've been down there since '55, paying them $50 a year for encroachment. And I don't know how you can have a floodplain when water can't get any higher than the dam will let it.
Well, it does.
I don't understand.
Yeah, if you come to our office, I can show you our FEMA floodplains. It'll show, like, here's the lake, and it grows under flood conditions. You know, you've heard of like the 100-year rain, 200-year rains, that's kind of nicknames for large floods, provisions. And it does, the water will swell, even though you've got a dam, it will swell. You know, it puts so much pressure on the dam, it does swell out. You've seen creeks, you probably have a creek close to your home. You see it rain for a week, that water may be 2-3 times higher than it normally is. That's what we're talking about there.
It's basically when you take out insurance and the insurance company's gonna ask you the first question, is it in the floodplain?
That's right, you have to have special insurance.
You got the dimensions to give them, whether you're in one or not.
If you're incorrectly diagnosed and you say you're not in the floodplain and you don't buy the insurance, then you've got a big problem because your regular insurance is not going to pay for it. You have to purchase that extra flood insurance.
Mr. McDaniel?
No questions there.
Mr. Biggs?
No, sir.
This will be a agreement just like the other one, either yes or no. I call for the vote, all in favor, raise your right hand.
Any motion with motion to approve the agreement?
I'll ask for a motion to approve this second part of this agreement.
Make a motion to approve an intergovernmental agreement with Waterloo for floodplain inspection.
Have a second? Motion and a second. All in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed? 5-1.
And as before, this is already signed by Waterloo.
It's virtually a copy of those insurance. Okay, thank you. Is there anything else you need?
Thank you, Mr. Bowman.
Okay, thank you.
Next is approval of JAG grant, Lisa Kirk.
Good evening. Within your packet, you should have received a memo from our office. Each year, the Sheriff's Office applies for a JAG grant, which is federal government funds, and the federal guidelines for the grant state that the intent to purchase has to be disclosed publicly. The information is also posted on the sheriff's website. The grant is for $18,325, and the sheriff's office is requesting $15,325 for computer hardware and software to complete their assigned duties for entering data, researching data, and assessing other vital information stored within the Lawrence County Sheriff's Office Record Management System and other governmental databases. The remaining $3,000, they have requested to purchase forensic equipment to document, collect, and preserve items of evidentiary matter. This will include, but not limited to, latent fingerprint equipment, casting equipment, and other equipment deemed necessary for evidence collection and preservation. This equipment will be used to process crime scenes and aid in the collection of evidence at those scenes. There's not really approval required on behalf of council, just that you have accepted this information. We've made it public. Should anybody in the public have any questions, they can contact the sheriff's office.
Okay. So we hadn't got a vote.
Can I ask one question, Mr. Chairman? Is there, am I understanding there's no match to this?
No match.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, ladies. Next is a request for consideration to amend county council policy, Brunner Stewart.
Chairman Wood and council members, thank you for accepting my request to be on the agenda. First, I would like to say personally to you, Mr. Paulson, we've never met. My issue or concern here has nothing to do with you. It has to do with long-term attendance and precedent that's set by members who have unexplained issues where they have to be out long-term. I applaud your commitment to your position and your efforts to uphold that commitment, so thank you for that. My request is to ask County Council to consider establishing guidelines for acceptable attendance for members. There's an expectation in the community that once elected, members will be active and present in the role they've accepted. And I know you all appreciate and understand that. I'm not schooling you. I understand from some limited research that I've done that to attach minimum attendance levels to maintaining an elected official's position is something that would have to come from the state level. I've spoken to several people, including Senator Verdon, about that. So I know that's not an option here, but there are other things that we can consider. My concerns come from this. While everyone can see that their position in the current situation, whether it's business or personal, is valid to them, we could have more than one at one time, and it would greatly compromise the efforts of our council to move forward with important decisions they need to make in leading this county. So there are other options that we can consider at the local level to encourage and promote attendance whenever possible. I suggest 3 tonight, and I have copies of my comments that I will give to you. First is to establish a limit of 3 excused absences. This allows for those inevitable situations where a council member may need to miss a meeting due to sickness, family issues, or business-related issues, frankly anything, if they feel that their absence is more important than dealing with something else. Also, number 2 would be to allow remote participation into meetings, but limiting that to 3 meetings in a calendar year. There are options for remote participation. They can Skype in and have face-to-face. They can remote in by teleconference. There's free services that can be used. It is not the best. Always present is better, but at least they would be actively hearing the comments and discussion. And then lastly, consider adjustments to compensation for missed meetings. Beyond those allowable excused absences and those attended via remote access, consider a pay adjustment or a reduction by a calculated per meeting amount. This figure would represent their salary divided by anticipated number of meetings for the year, or based on an average of the number of meetings for maybe the past 2 years. I know you can't anticipate how many budget meetings or meetings that you will have outside of the regular council meetings, so I can understand that there needs to be an average or a calculation. So again, my concerns are those that I just stated. Nothing replaces active participation and in-person attendance so that you can actually hear and be involved in the discussions as they take place while decisions are being made. While we all have issues that come up from time to time, these proposed recommendations will allow for that, make accommodations, but also encourage active engagement and participation of all council members in their elected roles. I would like to add that some of my research, while it's not in South Carolina, but in North Carolina, there are people that have similar policies in place. So it's not that we will be reinventing the wheel here. So thank you for your consideration.
Thank you, we'll accept this information. Next on our agenda is public comment. Sandra Johnson.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Sandra Johnson. I live at 178 Blake Riviera Road, Clinton, South Carolina. I hated for it to have to come to this, but I'm tired of being harassed and treated less than a citizen. It started out 2013 with my neighbor encroaching on my property. I talked to Dr. Talbert about this here. He lied to me, said it wasn't true, that he didn't survey the property. So I wrote a letter to the licensing board. The licensing board, they let it go. That was in 13 also. Licensing board, the case number was 2013-13, if you'd like to look it up. They wrote me a letter and told me it was dissolved. I have received a lot of backlash because of this. I believe that's why my identity was stolen. I had an 800 credit score, and we got that kind of wrapped up, but after a year, then someone is going around just taking out, trying to get stuff, and it keeps taking hits and knocking it back down. Like I say, and my house phone has been tapped. I'm trying to call attorneys and people to help me, and it's hanging up. My cell phone is hacked. The computer is hacked. It won't let you send in emails or anything. And I have talked to several leaders in Lawrence County about what has been going on with me. All they say is, get an attorney. Well, you cannot get an attorney after they find out who it is that you have a problem with. And by the way, after I could not get anything done with the licensing board, I kept looking at all the properties over Lawrence County. And I found a whole bunch of properties that wasn't paying taxes. So we find out later on, we hear in the news, what is it? That these are lost properties. Those properties never were lost, and everybody know who was doing it. And I don't understand why they served warrants in the courthouse for people who just was following the information, what people told them to do. Like I say, someone had been following me around. This was right after my mother died. And my aunt, she's older than my mom. She's 92, and she's seen it. Now, all this information, John Caney, he got it. He told me, he said, I'll give it to the sheriff. But whoever this was in this white Lexus, I think it was a white Lexus that was following, they got the tag number and everything, was following me around. Now, I don't mind you messing with me. This woman is 92 years old, and she was frantic. I mean, you know, I don't understand this. I really don't understand this, that what have I done to be treated like this and can't get no help? I mean, it's like, I never thought that I would grow up and be treated like this. You know, being humiliated. Jim Colton, I talked to him. You know, he tell me, he wouldn't do anything like that. Many attorneys talking about he's so a man of great respect and everything. I know what he did. He changed that whole subdivision around for my neighbor on the side of me, on the side of my mother. And then there was a surveyor that come out there to look at the property. He's supposed to be surveyed. He did survey it. I forgot his name, but he could never survey it right because of what Dr. Tolbert has done for so long. They out there ranting and raving and everything, and my mother in a hospital bed. And, you know,
Ms. Johnson, I'd rather you not call anybody's name. I'm gonna continue listening to you, but don't call anybody.
okay, but my main thing, I can never get anyone to survey my mother's property right. And she's dead now, but that was not fair to her. Neither was it fair to me. I mean, I have been treated less than an animal, I believe. And when I found out, a report, but I don't have that report that someone was peeping in my window. When I saw that spot on the side of the house last winter, where someone had been peeping in my house, I put up a shower curtain over the window and stand behind the door crying. Now, I mean, come on, y'all. I mean, and everybody, I've been telling everybody and everybody, you can sit there and act like you don't know, but everybody knows because these are a list of the leaders that I told it to. Or you don't want to hear that. You don't want to hear the leaders that I have talked to. I have talked to Danny Burton. I have talked to Mike Pitts. I have talked to, now let's go down to the Attorney General's office. I have talked to what's the guy name? Creighton Waters and Slade, Pete Logan, many of them. Abram, talked to him. Abram passed me off to Clayton Waters, and Clayton Waters passed me off to Slade. And I'm talking to all these people down here, and can't nobody help me, and then I'm getting threatened, and then all these properties messed up. Yeah, we lost a whole lot of money with these lost properties.
Well, Ms. Johnson, I don't really know what we can do about it as a council here. But Sheriff Reynolds is here, and if you got some accusations.
Accusations.
For.
Oh, wait. And that's not all.
I don't want to get into.
The attorney that I called today, somebody even told him that I was a liability and I should get a, you know, and got him to believe that I was just much of a liability, that he should get somebody, you know, leave me alone, and I should get somebody else to represent me.
I can understand your frustration. I really can, but I don't know really what we as a council can do.
What you as the council can do? Well, okay, for number one, like I said, all you got to do is license and board. Get that stuff from down there and look at. But y'all know about all the properties and what was it? Doctors Drive, Whole Grade, all kinds of bogus names and people not paying taxes. That's what we lost all our money at. Now look, we got properties up for sale everywhere. Now I told him that I did not want this to come out. But it's all true, and all because he refused to survey my mother's property right.
Yes, ma'am.
And other people in the community.
Well,
I mean, you know, I understand why people talk about Black Lives Matter, but all lives matter. Because they not only do it to black people, you do it to all people. I mean, this town is a dump, all because people steal. And we need some people to come in here to have integrity, some morals, and we got all these churches around here, and I said, now, what in the hell they be doing here? Excuse me. Because something ain't right. Something in the milk ain't clean, and the old cow know about it. All I'm saying, y'all need to get some people to start doing things that's legit, and see this county grow. Bring us up to levels that we're in. These kids walking around here don't have no job, don't have no role models.
okay, we're gonna have to move on. You you've used up 5 minutes, so, we need to move on to our next speaker.
I want people to stop harassing me, and I want those taps off my phone, and I want them to stop hacking my email, and stop messing with my phones.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. I'm sorry, I'm so excited, but I'm just tired of being harassed.
I can understand your frustration.
Thank you.
Next, Ms. Brenda Stewart.
I don't have any additional comments at this time, but I would like to hand this to Mr. Crookshanks, so you can have my notes from my comments earlier. Thank you.
That was all it signed up. Next, we're going to county council comments, and I'll start with Mr. Pitt.
No comment, Mr. Chairman.
Ms. McDaniel.
I'd just like to echo the sentiments earlier, thanking the emergency services and the dispatchers for all their hard work and dedication on the past day or so. We couldn't have done without you, and glad it wasn't worse than it could have been, but we appreciate you.
I don't have any comments except this county and the state. We're forced to be living here and have good law enforcement and everything else. Emergency services. Just proud to be a Lawrence County resident.
Mr. Jones.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. Once again, I want to thank first responders for their dedication during these storms. I want to thank Ms. Brenda Stewart for asking for these standards to be set. And I want to make sure that council has some more discussion on this, possibly going to a committee to study some of these options. Third, I wanted some of the things that Ms. Johnson, Ms. Sandra Johnson was saying. I'm very interested in what's going on, and the government is interested in protecting your private property. That's a sole function of government. So I'm going to get with you after this meeting. So,
What about me being afraid?
we're going to we can talk about that. Yes, ma'am.
That's
all.
Mr. Chairman, I do have a comment more on personal nature. I'm going to take an opportunity tonight. Once again, I wrote down what I wanted to say to try to keep as much emotion out of it as possible. So I'm going to read the statement. And I want to take a page out of another council member's article and address the editorial that was in the advertising this week. The editorial was addressed by my absence from meetings, and I apologize to Mr. Clayton for not getting back with him earlier as he requested. He gave me the opportunity. I was trying to adjust my schedule to attend this meeting and waiting to receive some information concerning some requirements of special election. As to the article in the advertising, I appreciate the fact that it was well written. It was factual. Mr. Clayton has always been fair in his reporting to the council members, and I think he did so this time as well. So I want to thank him for that. What I do want to address is Mr. Jones providing a statement to the press concerning another council member's business. His statement to the editorial included he wasn't sure how an electronic meeting would work, and he doesn't think video conferences should be used as a crutch for absent council members. I'd like to say, first of all, I hadn't requested or suggested he use video conference as a means to my attendance. But now that it's been brought up, I think it's a good suggestion, and I appreciate that suggestion. So I am also looking at using it as a tool. And I'd like to publicly advise Mr. Jones to exercise some professional courtesy and refrain from making public comments concerning my ability to represent the members of Council District 5. The other 6 of us have exercised that same courtesy to you, and trust me, we'll provide plenty of opportunity. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Well, I would again stress that I appreciate everything all our public service did the last few days and the last couple of weeks. We don't want to leave out all these people that sent water and supplies and different things to these different areas. never did we realize when someone came in Texas the very next week, we had an idea, but we didn't know it was gonna be catastrophic like it was in Florida. Those people talk about Lawrence County, but I feel like I've lived in Lawrence County all my life. I've worked off different places. I've always lived in Lawrence County all my life, and I wouldn't want to live anywhere else. Lawrence County, you hear a lot about taxes. We do our best to keep our taxes down as low as we can, but when things like this happen, when you got an EMS and a sheriff's department, fire service and communications and all that, you see where your tax money goes. And again, I'd just like to say thank you. With that being said, we got an executive session. We got two matters. One's an employment matter concerning the fire service. We got a contractual matter concerning detention center. I'd like to have a motion to go into executive session.
So moved, Mr. Chairman, go into executive session.
Second.
Motion in the second. All in favor, raise your right hand. 6-0. We'll take a 5-minute recess. Okay, we out of executive session. We had two matters, employment matter with a fire service and a contractual matter with the detention center. I'll open the floor for motion.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to authorize the county administrator to enter into a contract with Trinity Corporation to provide food services to Lawrence County Detention Center inmates.
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor, raise your right hand. 6-0.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion based on the approved 2017-2018 county budget to increase the deputy fire director's base salary to $43,500 annually.
Second. Chairman.
Motion and second. All in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed? 5-1.
Mr. Chairman, based on the 2017-2018 approved county budget, I make a motion to increase 3 new full-time paramedics and transition 1 part-time assistant to a full-time position in the EMS department.
Got a motion, we have a second? Second. Motion and second. All in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed? 5-1. Are there anything else coming before council?
Yep, Mr. Chairman, on the EMS, I want to make a statement. I spent some time yesterday so I could understand that proposal. And that's going to put this ambulance back to full-time status this morning. And I think that's what we need to improve our town. So I think it's a good plan. And I think it's showing some leadership there, and I think it's certainly a start in the right direction. I know it costs money, but the box units there, we just need the personnel to command that.
Thank you, Mr. Tolson. Anything else?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to clarify to the press, that is not additional money. That was in the 2017-2018 approved Lawrence County budget. Those are not additional expenditures.
Anything else? If not, we stand adjourned.